of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. So today's topics are body image, body shame and body dysmorphia. So I got about half an hour, just under half an hour to cover all this. So it's a lot to get through today. If you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives 47 Asexual Stories books. This is real life asexual stories, and if you've ever wanted to know more about asexuality and the asexual spectrum, this is a book to get. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble and Waterstones, so grab your copy now, type in Asexual Perspectives. So to get back to today's video then, today I want to talk about asexuality and body image, body shame and body dysmorphia. This is something that's not really talked about, I don't feel, in the asexual community. I haven't really seen many videos on this. So body dysmorphia, in case you didn't know, is a mental health condition, which means that you'll compare your body to other people's. It can involve body shame as well. You might be too preoccupied with your looks and about putting makeup on and wearing certain types of clothing to compete with others and to look better than others, or to hide your face or to hide your body in some way. And so it's kind of a real big issue that not many people talk about. A lot of people who are trans obviously have body dysmorphia if they were, for example, a cis female, now a trans man. So a cis female is someone who in trans language it's a cis female. In untrans language it's someone who was born female, assigned female at birth, right? Either any of these terms are used by different genders to describe this, right? So someone who's assigned female at birth, someone's born female at birth in terms of how they were assigned at birth, right? But if it's a female trans, but then as a trans guy, trans people can get very offended by saying born as a this, because obviously a trans guy believes that they were never a woman in the first place, right? It was just something they were assigned to at birth. And vice versa if it's a trans girl. And so, you have to understand they use different language to cis people. So cis, I'm a cis, CIS girl. I was assigned female at birth, born female, am female. So a lot of trans people, they get body dysmorphia if, for example, they're a trans guy and they've still got the body, the genitalia, the boobs of a female, for example. Because they don't feel it's congruent with who they are. Because they don't, the body they've got is not the one they want. They want a different body usually. They want a man's body, not a female's body, because they don't feel like a female. And guys who are trans, people who are assigned guy at birth, who are originally a cis guy, they were originally born as a guy. They're not cis anymore because they're trans. When someone is assigned a gender at birth, but they are no longer that gender, they're trans or non-binary, gender fluid, they're a different gender. So someone who is a cis person, CIS, was assigned that gender at birth and was born that gender and is still identifying as that gender. Someone who's trans isn't cis because they were assigned male or female usually at birth, unless they're intersex, obviously, which have got male and female genitalia. So if someone was so people who are not trans usually are known as cis, CIS, and people who are trans are not cis. But obviously you might have some trans people who for a long time did identify as a cis guy or a cis girl. But if they realize later on that they were trans, but usually people who are trans realize very early on in their age that they were born into the wrong body, basically. So they can have a lot of body dysmorphia going on because of obviously the genitalia and their body is not how they feel inside. So I hope you understand that cis is usually a term used for people. Thank you for the thumbs up. Lots of love. For used for the people who were assigned a gender at birth and they're still that gender. And then trans people are usually not cis people. They are assigned a gender at birth, and they're trans later on. But they've usually felt they're a different gender all along to the one they were assigned to at birth, if that makes sense. So they can have body dysmorphia going on, like I said, because they don't recognise that in line with who they are in their mind and their spirit and their soul. But you can I've come across one guy I dated who was a heterosexual guy, and he had body dysmorphia. I come across quite a few body dysmorphic guys, and the reason for this is I get attracted to younger guys or guys who look younger. And, you might have a guy, say, even in his early 30s, and he is still looking like he has a young body. Like he maybe has a really baby face, can't really get much facial hair, doesn't have any chest hair. Now, I love that type of guy. I love a guy who's got a baby face, no facial hair, and his body, chest is hairless. That's the type of look I like. You can get guys in their late 20s or early 30s and beyond that still look like that. They don't really change. They look like they're really, really young all the time. I personally love a guy like that, but because I come across guys like that on my journey, on my asexual dating journey and relationships journey, a lot of the guys that I come across, they're ashamed of that. They're like, I want to put facial hair on. I want to grow a beard because I want to look older. I hate that. I hate beards. I can't stand it. The amount of guys who wear beards, it drives me absolutely crazy. I'm like, I'm not another one with a beard. Take the bush off your face, please. And anyway, so a lot of the guys, so I dated a heterosexual guy, I think it was back in 2017, and he had told me he had body dysmorphia, which was nice of him to tell me that. And so for him, like having a young body, like with no chest, with no chest hair, he was in his 40s, so he was older than me in birth certificate age when I was dating him. And he had he had no chest hair, and he didn't like that. But I loved that about him because I don't like chest hair. And so I've come across some asexual guys as well who've had body dysmorphia issues because of the same thing. They look so young, like they're in their 30s or whatever, and they're still looking like they're a teenager or early 20s or something, you know what I mean? And so, they're looking like about 19 or, like in their early 20s or something. And obviously I'm making sure that they are older, not just like saying that. But it's really important that we understand this does happen. Now there's also I've seen in asexual groups people having body shame, and some people think that certain people are asexual because they've got this body shame. They don't want to have sex because they don't like the way their body looks. They're embarrassed about it or ashamed of it. And asexuality is not about being shamed of your body. It's not about, and that's the reason you don't have sex. It's not about, like fearing sex. It's about a genuine sexual orientation where you lack sexual attraction. And some people are on the grey end of the asexual spectrum, obviously, where they lack sexual attraction in the usual form, but they do still have some sexual attraction under limited, rare, or specific circumstances, or they have it but not enough to act on it. So the spectrum is wide, but having said that, there are a number of asexuals who do have a poor image of their body, in their mind. They don't like their body. It does put, they don't want to look at themselves in the mirror. Now, I think this might be a little bit of the case of they might be neutered to repulse like I am. So I don't just think it's about sex, and not wanting sex because of that. It could be a number of other issues going on. An asexual person is someone who lacks sexual attraction. It's not the same as having a mental disorder. such as body dysmorphia. But obviously, some asexuals can have body dysmorphia. Some asexuals can have poor body image. Some asexuals can have body shame, you know? And especially if you've been bullied. If you've been bullied for the way something looks about your face, or your tummy, or your bum, or legs, or any part of your body, you kind of, if you've been bullied about that, you're going to take it through years and years later, probably to adult life. It's only if you've gone through a lot of self-love training and development that you can actually start to have a positive body image. And years ago, I used to see in asexual groups that there was a lot of people women particularly, who didn't like their body and didn't want to look at themselves in the mirror. So I thought to myself, I don't want to be that type of asexual. I don't want people saying to me, oh, you just don't want sex because you don't like your body, or you have a nudity repulsion because you don't like your body. And so I made a conscious effort to retrain my mind so that I loved my own body. And the way I did this was by looking in a mirror. Now, people who've got a poor image of their body and they got body shame, they do not like looking at themselves in the mirror. Or they would maybe look at themselves excessively and pick faults with it. This is not about doing that. This is about looking at yourself naked in the mirror and saying positive affirmations and words to yourself, and touching your own skin and body as well, which may make some people really cringe, but it's a really, really effective, and you have to do it over a long period of time. And this is the way that you counteract the negativity of the body image, because you need to kind of be changing your mindset about that. And the only way you're going to do it is by actually seeing how gorgeous your body is. Like if you touch your skin, you'll see how velvety it is, how soft it is in some textured parts, how rough it is in others. You might want to apply moisturizer to certain parts of your body, which is fine. But you really need to love the skin you're in, no matter what body shape or size you are. No matter whether you've got sticky out ears, or a big nose, or, small lips and tiny mouth, or whatever you've got, you need to really be doing some positive affirmations and some mirror work. Now, the reason we do it in the mirror is because you're seeing yourself and you're waking yourself up to yourself. And it's not always easy to do. When I first started doing this, it was kind of really weird. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm looking at my own body, because I don't like nakedness. I hate nudity. I'm nudity repulsed. And so looking at my own body when I'm nudity repulsed is kind of like weird when I'm focusing on it. But now my image of my own body is really changed, so that it doesn't matter what shape and size I am, I still love myself, whatever I am, and I get really into my own body a lot more now. So I've gone from like being really like a kind of like, oh my God, nervous around it, to being like, oh God, I love it now. My female body is the only female body I love and like, to be honest. I don't like other bodies of females. I don't like nudity. But I hate naked women's bodies, but I've got so used to mine, because I do touch it and stuff, and I do talk, say stuff about it, and I do use words like I'm gorgeous, hot and sexy, even though I'm asexual. So words really matter to you. So whatever words make you feel like, make you feel excited about your own body, make you feel good about your own body, make you feel like you care about your own body, anything, it depends what self-talk you want to give yourself, where you want to say, you look so damn cute, you look so cuddly, you look so beautiful out of the contours of your skin. And and I have a practice where I write down stuff I love about myself. So it can be personality traits, it doesn't have to be just looks, but when you write down what you love about yourself, you should be including really at least 3 ways in which you look good to yourself. Like, for example, I love my smile, I love my hair, I love my eyes, I love my skin, I could go on and on, because I do actually love myself a lot. But I've done a lot of the inner work. It all requires inner work. You're not gonna love something you maybe hated or disliked for years. You're not going to do that overnight. You have to change your mindset, and the only way you're going to do that is by facing your fear and staring at yourself in the mirror and thinking, okay, I've got this body now, I need to like look at it and enjoy it, right? Obviously, if you're, like I said, if you're a trans person, your body, you're going to have body dysmorphia. if you're transitioning and you haven't had surgery yet and stuff like that. So that's kind of a little bit more difficult to do this, you know. I'm not really suggesting those trans people do this, because I think if they want a surgery and they need to transform their body through surgery, I think they need to do that, you know. And I think that's important. But for the people especially that are not trans, and you want the body you've got, you know, as in, when I say want the body you've got, you don't want to go through surgery to get another body. You don't want to transition into a gender because you don't believe you are the right gender, so you don't want to transition your body, right? So what I'm trying to say is, particularly if you're trans, obviously you're going to have body dysmorphia because you feel like the body's not your own, and then you need to take action to do something about that, you know, and find the type of body that you want and go and get that, you know, through surgery or however. Or, you know, if you can't have surgery, then you still need to love the body that you have got while you've got it, if you know what I mean, still knowing who you truly are in your soul, you know. I'm not trans. I have trans friends, and obviously I don't want to give too much advice to trans because I'm not trans myself. So I think it's better for you to take more advice from people who are trans themselves in that respect. But for the person who doesn't want to transition their body, doesn't want to have surgery, those people that don't like their body, this is a really good practice to do, to get you used to your body and it is looking at yourself in the mirror and stroking yourself and touching yourself and getting used to your body shape, you know. And you need to be saying lovely stuff to yourself, like, oh my God, your skin's so gorgeous, you're so beautiful, you're just amazing. And you need to repeat this on a daily basis. You know, you should be looking at yourself in the mirror. I have a mirror outside my shower. It's in the hallway. I live by myself, so it's fine. So I open the shower door, I have a hallway, and I've got a mirror, a full-length mirror right in front of it. And when I get out, I see myself naked every single time. That's done purposely and with intent, because I want to make sure that I'm loving my body. And the benefits of this is, like, if you get into a relationship at a later date and they start being horrible about your body, for example, you can just tell them politely to F off. Like, you just don't be with a person like that. But, you know, if you get with someone in a relationship or dating scenario and they're having a jibe at your body, which they should never do, they're horrible people if they're doing that, right? You don't want to be with someone like that. But if they do, you then are a stronger person. You're then like, well, I love my body and I'm not changing for you. You know, my body's gorgeous as it is, right? And then you get a lot of inner strength and personal power. Someone like me years ago who had really low self-esteem, low self-worth, didn't particularly like myself or my life, you know, wasn't too keen on my body back then. You know, when you're in that position, that mental position, it's not good. It's really weak and it's really insecure and it's really like unworthy of yourself, you know. And so you don't want to be in this, because when you're in a weak position like that, you attract narcissists, abusers and stuff like that. You might still attract narcissists and abusers, but you're more able to deal with that type of person if you're stronger, because you can let them go. You can think, no, I'm damn well worth it, my body's gorgeous. If that person doesn't like it, there'll be another one who does, and I love it anyway. So I'll just have it all to me anyway. I mean, I love my body. I mean, in a relationship, I don't actually want a guy touching much of my body. I prefer to touch it myself. I'm like, it's for me. And I didn't used to be like that, because I used to be in sexual relationships a lot of my life in the past. And I think once you start touching yourself, playing with yourself, if you want, like, you know, like really getting a good grip on your own body, if you know what I mean. When you start doing that, you start taking your personal power back even more into your own hands. You start being stronger. You start being more like a fortress, and that it makes it harder for these people who are very emotionally and mentally manipulative to get in there, right? But if you come from a position of weakness, of like you know, like not valuing your own body, not thinking you're worth love because you've got a certain type of like nose or sticky out ears or wrong hair color or wrong eyes, or you've got freckles, or you've got moles, or you've got big thighs, you know, if you come from a place of lack of or of not liking part of your body or self, a person can see that. And once they see that, if they carry on, they'll just wear you down, because this is what abusers and narcissists do. They will say lots of lovely stuff about you, then they'll go in for the kill, and they'll start devaluing you. So this is why it's essential that you start taking control of your own body image, and you start learning to love your own body, not just for your own sake in the now, but for your own sake in the future. If you're looking to date or get into a relationship, it's really important. Obviously, if you do want to be in a relationship with a sexual person and have sex, and you're not a sex repulsed asexual like me, then, you know, you the more comfortable you are with your own body, the more comfortable you will be with having sex or doing sexual acts or having sexual relations, or even being close to that person, cuddling them in bed, you know, having them cuddle you, and being physically close to you. The more comfortable you are in your own body, the more you will be able to physically express yourself and not live in fear, and you'll be much more secure in yourself and happy person. I mean, I had when I was dating when I was in a relationship, I should say, with the guy who was 23 a couple of years ago. He was British guy. He was like 23, and I'm not a skinny girl, and he could just lift me, grab hold of me, and lift me right up in the air. I don't know how he did it. He was as short as me. I'm 5'4.5", so he was really short, and he literally lifted me up just like that. I'm like, oh my god. So he was stronger than a lot of guys that are really meant to be strong in the gym, you know. And I did really like that. I'm like, oh my god, you just did that, you know. I've had other guys doing that as well, you know. So that's a really physically strong guy. So do you know what I mean? You have to love the skin you're in and love the body you're in, no matter whether you're, you know, like some people obviously are bullied because they're too, you know, they're bullied at school for being skinny, because, you know, that it's like, you know, like I've got an asexual friend, and she reminded me that skinny people are bullied, not just, you know, larger people. Skinny people are bullied, you know. And they're bullied because, you know, like they get jibes like, oh, put some meat on your bones, and that type of nasty stuff. So she's reminding me that, you know, skinny people can have a lot of jibes, a lot of bullying going on at them. Like I've said before on this channel, I actually like skinny guys, even though I'm not a skinny girl. I like them because I just like, I've had experience of being with a guy who was a lot bigger than me, and he squashed me when I was kissing, when we're kissing, but he went on top. Usually I go on top kissing the guy now if I'm in a relationship, but he used to go on top and squash me, and so I didn't mind at the time his weight, as in like I didn't mind how his weight was when I was with him, because I at the time had love feelings for him, and so, you know, and so it didn't bother me from that respect, in that respect. But when I was actually underneath him kissing, I was like getting squished. And then the last guy I was in a relationship with for 8.5 years, he was really skinny. He could eat loads of stuff, he just didn't put on any weight, and he was really tall, 6'3". And I began to really like skinny guys, because when you kiss, you can kind of melt into them a lot more, I find, and when, you know, kissing and cuddling. So I really like that. But most women do not like skinny guys. Most women like muscly guys, you know, like big muscly guys, and, you know, kind of like the skinny guys can sometimes get left behind, and then they can have body image issues, that they're too thin and that women won't want them because they want a big bulky guy, muscly guy. But just to say to all the skinny guys out there, you're amazing, don't ever forget it, you're beautiful just as you are. And I think whatever size and shape you are, you know, you just got to love the skin you're in, you know. I don't like to ever use the word FAT. I think it's really bad. You know, I think there's women who are voluptuous. So, you know, I class myself as voluptuous. And I like that. Guys tend to like, especially sexual guys, they tend to like the kind of voluptuous, big curvy figures. Also something with sexuals as well, you should know, is a lot of sexuals like boobs. And if you're bigger in body mass, you know, you tend to have bigger boobs. So most guys will like that about a bigger girl, if you know what I mean. They'll like the big boobs. So we're like, oh, you got more. I don't like a guy touching my boobs these days, but I'm just saying, Rob, I've always been insecure about being so skinny. I've now been going to the gym for nearly 4 years and only just starting to feel a little less insecure. Oh, bless you, Rob. Lots of love. Lovely to see you. That's really interesting. So the heterosexual guy I dated back in, I think it was 2017, he went to the gym regularly, but my muscles, I got big muscles for a girl on my arms. He like, you don't do anything. And you've got bigger muscles than me. And I spend hours at the gym I can't put any muscle on like you know, not my muscles are not as big as you. And so it used to be really funny because I don't really, you know, I could pull a shopping trolley. I don't even do that much anymore because my friend comes and does a bulky shopping for me once a week still because my back's really bad. But you know, like all I do is like if I do sit-ups for my back, like press-ups for my back, or you know, just pull a shopping trolley because I started weightlifting when I was 17 years old, between the ages of 17 and 19, and birth certificate age I started doing weightlifting, and my arms have always been muscly since then, and I do like to keep them toned, preferably, you know, because I don't like flabby arms. I like to keep them toned. But yeah, the guy, it was so funny. He was going, "Oh, you don't even go to the gym or do anything, and you've got bigger muscles than me, and I'm there working out for ages." I thought it was quite ironically funny. He was the one that actually had body dysmorphia, though. You know, that he didn't like the fact he got a young person's body basically with no chest hair and that. So you know, but he wasn't good in the end, so we couldn't be in a relationship. But yeah, so I'm glad you said that, Rob, though, because it's really important. So, you know, whatever shape or size you are, you can have body image issues, body confidence issues. People forget, you know, that it's all shapes and sizes that have body issues. It's not just one particular shape or size, you know. And what you need to do is, if you get into a relationship, you need to find someone who loves your personality the most, and like whatever body shape you happen to be, at whatever time, they'll love and adore you anyway because they love the person, they love the soul. For me, it's very difficult because I can't stand beards, so I really need to find a guy who can't, like, hates ever having a beard himself or can't have any facial hair. Some guys just can't. They have got no chest hair and they've got no facial hair, so they can't even have a beard if they wanted to. So really for me, like I just can't stand, I just don't like aesthetically the look of beards, but you know, there's plenty of women that do. There's on Asexualise, Asexualise is my own site, sorry, on asexualitic.com dating site, there is specifically an asexual group for those who love beards, right? So there's tons of people that love beards. For me personally, it's a really big turn off. But obviously, if you're in a relationship and someone starts growing a beard, it becomes very difficult then, you know? So I really need to get with a guy who hates beards himself and who doesn't want to have one, you know? Because they're very repulsive to me, the beard itself, not the person. And I think, you know, if you don't like women who are curvier and bigger, hi, someone black. Hello, nice to see you. So if you are, I couldn't pronounce your first name, sorry. If you are, you know, if you're a person who's drawn to skinny people, then ideally you should get with someone who's skinny, but they could change later on and become bigger, and vice versa. So you should ideally get with the person who you want to be in a relationship with the body they have, but they could change. They could get a disability, they could get an illness, they could get sick, their body shape can change. Most people's body shape does change as they get older, you know, and so you've got to realize that. So the most important thing is to find people, friends, and particularly if you're looking for a dating relationship scenario, you get someone whose personality you absolutely adore. And then even if they change body shape or size, it doesn't matter because you are loving the soul of that person, the heart of the person, and who they are, regardless of their body shape or size. You know, that's what you need to do, because if you're going to spend the rest of your life with that one person, it's very important to get that. Personally, I need mental stimulation. I need someone intelligence. That to me is even more important. That, you know, if they change their body shape and they go from being skinny to larger, that more important to me is their personality, their heart, the way they speak to me, the way they love and care about me, and mental stimulation. You know what I mean? If a guy's got nothing to talk to me about, and you know, it's not an intelligent character and personality, then it would just be boring for me. So anyway, I've got to love you and leave you because I've got to go and Skype my best asexual friend. I don't want to be late for them. And thank you so much for being on the stream. I hope you've enjoyed it. Go back to the beginning to listen to it again if you haven't already. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thanks, Rob, for being here. And someone black, I can't pronounce your first name. I really appreciate you being here. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live. Right now, I'll post a new video. Lots of love to all you. And I'll see you on the next video live stream. Thank you, Rob. Thank you to everyone else. And I will see you soon. Lots of love. Bye. Have a good day. Have an ace day.